forever?
No, it is not.
Then why will you not give me an answer as you promised?
Just a little longer. I need to be sure.
But how long, Mary? Until summer, I suppose.
Until summer.
And then you'll say autumn, and then Christmas. I've been very patient. What more must I do? I treat Thomas like my own son.
You've been most kind. Please, don't think I'm ungrateful. I'm just not ready to think about such things.
Then when will you be ready? Mary, he's dead. Gone. One day you will have to accept that. You have to think of the future. Thomas needs a father. I will press you no further for the moment. But if you keep this, well, I will take it to mean yes. I'm home now. Let it all go away.
Never give up hope. That's my motto. Always has been, always will be. You remember that winter's morning, walking along the beach in the snow? We thought we'd never find anything, given up all hope. When suddenly, out of the blue, we find a treasure.
We found one boot with an hole in it.
Yeah, but you never know. This morning we might look down and we might find the matching boot.
It was 5 years ago, Dad.
I don't know. You haven't got scrap in your heart, that's your trouble.
What's that?
I don't know.
Don't look like a bomb. Oh my God! Dad! Look! Don't move, giant!
Oh, look, they're everywhere. Oh, Lilliputians everywhere. Oh!
You're hurting me.
Oh, forgive me. I'm so sorry. You're frightened of me. Of course you are. I must appear terrifying to you. So huge, monsters. Don't be frightened. Look, I'll whisper.
Have you fallen from the heavens? You the man in the moon? I mean, where did you come from?
Said it like that.
What?
It's going to be the making of us. We're going to be rich.
Oh, no! Here comes the army!
Get away from it, you fools! Get away! It's a trap! It's not a man at all! It's a war machine filled with big enders! Get off it! Any minute now, they're gonna pour out! Look!
I can assure you, sir, my intentions are complete.
Open fire!
No, please.
Lemuel.
No, don't touch me.
What's wrong? Are you ill?
Don't come too near me, I beg you. Please.
Have you slept here all night?
I haven't slept at all. I was swimming for most of the night. I thought I was going to drown. Put that down! Who is this boy?
This is Tom. He is your son.
My son.
I was pregnant when you went away.
How long have I been away?
They said your ship was lost. I thought you were dead.
How long have I been gone?
Nearly 9 years.
Food for the giant! Make way! Food for the giant!
So when's this terrible army going to burst out of his stomach then?
Be quiet, son. What do you know about military strategy, you country oafs?
We never see food like that. What about the rationing? You tell him to eat seaweed soup.
One more word, I'll have you flogged. Forgive his impertinence, sir, please.
Greetings, brother. I fear the worst. The big enders must have sent him as the beginning of an invasion force.
Stay properly now.
We found him. He's salvage.
You're under arrest for treason. Take him away, and the other one.
You can't do that.
No, you can't do that. Not to us, you can't.
I'll summon the entire fleet into the bay. We must notify the Emperor at once.
I was so hungry.
But it took hours and hours to eat anything at all. I had to swallow about a dozen loaves just to get one mouthful. I ate cows and pigs and chickens completely whole.
Bones and all. I had to drain at least 11 barrels of wine before my thirst was satisfied.
I don't understand. Why was the food so tiny? Because of the Lilliputians.
Yes, that's right. There were hundreds of them. They were everywhere.
They were dragging tiny timbers and tree trunks towards me. They must have cleared a whole forest.
And then I heard this banging and sawing, and I realized they were building this massive wooden frame. Then horses arrived, teams of horses, 10, 20, 30. They must have been 100 before they finished. They were using them to drag me away from the cliff.
Lemuel, you're not making any sense.
Well, maybe it was the wine, but suddenly I start to feel very strange, and they're pulling me. They're pulling me along. Why?
Go and find Joshua. Anybody, quickly.
Where?
Take him into the
No,
surgery, quickly.
Why have you tied me up?
Nobody's tied you up, Lemuel.
Mind his head. Where did you find him?
He slept in the stable all night. Tom found him.
Over there, quickly now. Right. The procession halted outside the Emperor's palace.
Why are we stopping?
Make way that all bound, all guns, and all fathers, and fathers, glory to know, heaven, Holly, too, delight and terror of the universe, whose dominions extend 5,000 lustrats, whose feet press down to the center, and whose head strikes against the sun, the most mighty emperor of Lilliput.
Well, you weren't exaggerating. He's a whopper.
He's under constant guard, Father. He's dead if he makes a move.
Does he talk?
He has a limited vocabulary, Father.
How does one address him?
Man-mountain is the usual term, Your Majesty.
Good evening, Man Mountain.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Splendid.
Who are these two?
Caught trying to steal the giant from the state.
That's a lie. We found him. He belongs to us.
No. You see, we don't want him. We are going to donate him to the war effort.
Traitors, are they?
Let's feed them to the giant.
An excellent test of his ferocity.
Don't eat me, and I'll be your friend for life. I see you're all right. Partners, you and me. What'd you say, eh?
My son! My son!
The giant has shown mercy. How marvelous. We, however, will not. Have them both disemboweled at dawn.
I don't think that's wise, Your Majesty.
He can't have slept for days.
Certainly his mind is extremely disturbed.
It's so wonderful. I'd given up all hope.
Had you?
I didn't mean...
No, of course not. It's a miracle that he has returned to us. Now we must let him rest.
Yesterday, we gave him enough to feed a regiment for a week. Now he complains he's hungry again.
I have here a projection from my treasurer based on the multiplication of his body weight. He's going to consume the rations of exactly 1,728 of your subjects every day.
Every day? We can't have that.
Let's kill him and be done with it.
No. The decomposing corpse. It could cause a serious plague.
If we continue feeding him, there'll be famine to deal with. What's the difference?
Is he secure?
Absolutely, Majesty. Army matter.
So he decides to escape.
Your Majesty.
Man Mountain! Where's my dearest wife? I want her to see him.
She's a little nervous at meeting our new arrival, Majesty.
Sweetmeat, please come out and have a look. How are you today, my chick?
Pale, my husband, pale and fearful.
How British he looks!
Ask him to descend.
Down here! Gently now. To me. Whoa!
He's staring at me. He has a horrible leering expression.
Oh, really? He's in chains. He can't do anything.
He might bite.
On the contrary, Empress, I should like to kiss your beautiful hand.
How charming.
No!
Yes!
Bring towels in a bucket. I think his lips were a bit wet.
Please forgive me, Your Majesty.
Not at all. Where does he sleep?
Well, nowhere, Your Majesty. Not yet. We're organising a bed.
600 beds, to be precise. I have the figures here. 144 blankets, 322 sheets.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Majesty. What Majesty?
Lower your voice. If you speak loudly, they'll be frightened.
Get up, man. Get up off the floor, for pity's sake.
I asked them to release me.
Asked who?
The Emperor.
Dr. Gulliver, I must insist. He had a great desire for me to see the magnificence of his palace in the center of the city of Mildento.
The people had been warned of my approach, but I trod very carefully for fear of harming any stragglers. I wore only my waistcoat, so I did no damage to the roofs of the eaves with the skirts of my coat.
The palace was a most magnificent construction, standing 60 feet high to the Lilliputians. When I climbed into the courtyard, I was able to observe the splendor of the royal household. The Empress herself was in attendance and pleased to smile graciously upon me.
Get away! Get away from me, you horrible monster! Shoot! Shoot!
Well, he lives in a big crater on the moon, eating mostly fruit and cheese. He's a fascinating chap, with many wondrous stories to tell. I'm the only one he'll confide in, of course.
You will not believe this. I have got my own bedroom with pillows. Have you got pillows in your bedroom?
And a bell to ring, should I want anything in the night?
No. Because the trouble is, I can't sleep in the bed because my feet are too dirty.
Allow me, Your Majesty.
Wonderful room. What is this place?
This is the great chamber of war, from which the Emperor directs his noble campaign against the evil empire that confronts us.
At first we thought you were a weapon of Big Ender's, our sworn enemy.
Forgive my ignorance, Excellency, but who are Big Enders? And why are they your sworn enemy?
Well, because... Boys, explain.
Yes, of course. It's very simple. We are little enders and the enemy are big enders.
But what does Big Enders or Little Enders mean?
There's a subversive tone to his questioning that I don't care for.
I agree. Are you an agitator?
Certainly not.
Easy to say.
The Lilliputians competed for public office in a most strange manner. Promotion was not given for bravery or service to the state, but for skill at the noble art of creeping and leaping.
What are you looking at?
The Emperor is demanding my presence.
This most unusual ceremony was presided over by the Emperor in his throne room. The candidates, at considerable risk to themselves, undertake a trial of dexterity such as I have not seen in any other country of the Old or New World. The Emperor holds a stick in his hands, both ends parallel to the horizon, while the candidates, advancing one by one, sometimes leap over the stick and sometimes creep under as the stick is raised or lowered. Whoever performs his part with the most agility and shows the greatest skill at leaping and creeping is rewarded with the highest office.
On myself, on.
Has the old Chancellor been executed yet?
The last member of the old cabinet, Your Majesty.
Oh, good. We'll make this chap the new Lord Chancellor.
The Lord Chancellor, oh my Lord!
Was he really executed?
Who?
The old Lord Chancellor.
Most people were.
I found you some clothes.
Who is that man? What is he doing in our house?
It isn't our house. Not anymore. Dr. Bates has been most kind. He's paid for much of Tom's upkeep, but now he owns the house. He runs your old practice in the village, and I am his housekeeper.
Mary?
Excuse me. Come along, I want you downstairs for your supper.
Don't be frightened of me. I don't want to seem indelicate, but where's he going to stay?
Well, I thought you'd stay here.
For a while, of course, but what's he going to do? I'm the doctor now, there's no work for him, and he seems, forgive me, to be suffering from some form of mania.
He's exhausted and clearly troubled. I accept his behavior is strange.
Mary, it is a joyous thing that he has returned, and we must give thanks for it.
Where are you going?
I cannot sleep here.
Lemuel, I understand. We're like strangers meeting again for the first time.
No! Don't touch me! I can't bear for you to come too near me.
Please, help me, Tom.
You don't understand. You cannot understand where I've been.
Tell me what's wrong. Help me to understand. Please. You're frightening me. I will sleep in Tom's room if that's what you wish. I'm used to it.
Mary, please believe me. I want to come home, but I cannot. I cannot. I cannot!
Khosrow had persuaded the Emperor to mount the most impressive military parade ever seen, with all the imperial troops passing between my legs. Sightseers came from every corner of Lilliput. Women and children, farmers and teachers, lawyers and midwives, all lining the street to gape and stare. There'd been other military parades before, of course, but none with me.
The money is rolling in, Your Highness. We can approve unprecedented military expansion.
What if he slips and falls on us?
Darling, no harm can befall you.
Nothing to go wrong, Your Highness. I've organised every last detail.
I understand. His trousers are somewhat ragged on account of the shipwreck, and I really must warn your ladyship that under no circumstances should you look upward as we drive underneath it.
Here we go, everybody.
Blimey! Unbelievable!
I want you to stop this now.
Stop what?
All these stories. Just be normal again.
I'm simply telling them what happened.
Well, I don't want you to. Is it your wish for me to lose my position and my home? Is it? But that's what will happen if you persist in this nonsense.
This is intolerable. How can I concentrate on my work while he's charging about the house like an idiot?
Get rid of that monster!
You know how unfunny his parade raised for the war effort today!
He's very ill, Mary. Perhaps it is not my place, but I have to say that I'm worried for the child. The ideas that he's putting into his head are not proper or Christian. We cannot allow this to continue.
But what can we do?
Sometimes I visit a hospital where they help people who are sick like this. I think it might be best if we took him there, just so the doctors can examine him.
He'll never agree.
Leave that to me.
This has just arrived, Admiral. Bad news?
The worst. The big enders have built a new war fleet.
I knew it! We must move our troops!
Father, I urge you give nothing away. Big end of spies are everywhere.
Surely not in my own campaign room.
Especially here. The walls have ears.
That's a bloody menace. How substantial is their attacking fleet?
Warships with 500 cannons.
500, but our biggest ships have only 50.
And naval warriors so fearsome they'd rather die than surrender.
Oh, this is awful. Our troops will always surrender rather than die. What shall we do?
Take every second farmer off the land and have him build warships.
Increase the army by 600,000 men and employ them immediately to construct a 40-foot wall around Lilliput.
Boys, we did both those last month. There's nothing for it. We have held back our greatest weapon for long enough.
I was summoned to the Emperor and told in no uncertain terms the very future of Lilliput itself depended upon my courage and ingenuity. A massive invasion fleet stood poised, ready to attack, and I was the only thing standing in its way. I scoured the whole of the land for the thickest ropes and cables I could find, and bent a number of iron bars into hooks, like this.
Bravo!
That night, I waded across the channel separating the two empires, and in the last yard, took a great breath, and dived underwater.
I made it. The sailors screamed in terror when they saw me. Most of them abandoned ship and jumped overboard.
Lemuel, Judge!
Nothing could stop me now. I started off to Lilliput, dragging the entire fleet behind me. Put the child to bed.
What's wrong?
Do as you're told now.
But I think
trust
I should...
my judgment in this. Do as I request. Give me your hand, Doctor.
My glorious victory was the cause of much rejoicing throughout the land. Thousands rushed to the gates to meet me, and there was the greatest cheer of relief and celebration that you ever heard.
Marvelous! Marvelous! The end of the war! Peace and prosperity! For doing what our greatest generals and admirals could not, you are awarded our greatest honor. Page boy! What is our greatest honor?
The Order of Nardak, Majesty.
The Nardak? But Father, General Limtock and I are only clumglums. I mean, how will it look to our men if he has a higher honor?
Father, a word.
I fear the job is worse than half done.
I agree. I mean, it's one thing to bring home the ships of the enemy, but quite another to bring home the enemy themselves.
The monster must prove his loyalty by killing all big enders.
Must he? Every last man, woman, and child.
I think you should return and destroy what remains of the enemy.
Oh, I don't think there's any need to crush them completely, Your Majesty. They can do us no harm, and I'm sure they'll make a dignified surrender.
My husband gave you an order.
With all due respect, we've won the war. There's no more threat. We've won.
We need to talk.
That night, I must confess, I got very drunk. I had been told that I emptied the royal cellars of everything save 12 barrels of sweet cider.
I don't know. I'm working harder now than I ever did.
Let me fill your glass.
Thank you, it's full. The thing was, they've been fighting this ridiculous war for generations and generations. And none of them had the slightest clue what they were fighting about.
I know.
They've been killing each other for years and years, and there wasn't a single Lilliputian who knew why.
No, I mean, I know. I know how the war started.
You know?
Well, I know what my grandmother told me. When the Emperor's great-great-grandfather were a little boy, he was eating an egg for his breakfast one day, when, breaking it off at the larger end, he happened to cut one of his fingers. Now, his father, the Emperor, that's the 23rd Emperor, that is, he published a law commanding everybody on pain of beheading to break their eggs off at the smaller end. Now, Lilliputians, they don't like being told what to do, see? And some of them said, we are going to break our eggs at the big end, and just you try to stop us, which is exactly what the Emperor did. Eventually, the rebels fled across the water to Blefusca, and thus began the great and terrible war. We have had, all in all, 11,000 people suffer death, rather than submit to breaking their eggs at the smaller end. You smell burning?
A firework had set light to the palace, and Her Imperial Majesty's apartments were ablaze. The Lilliputians had already applied their tiny ladders to the walls of the building and were well provided with buckets. But the water was at some distance, and in any event, the ladders were not tall enough, so the case seemed wholly desperate, and this magnificent palace would most certainly have been burned to the ground and the Empress with it, if, by a presence of mind unusual to me, I had not suddenly had an idea. I was still full from my drinking session, and looking down on the royal bedchamber, only one course of action seemed open to me.
Thank you, you have saved my life. Thank you.
It's an outrage. He made water in the royal grounds. It's a treasonable offence.
But he saved the Empress's life.
At what cost? Our stepmother will never be able to show her face in public again, convinced that she's the laughingstock of Lilliput.
But she's not there. Is she?
And earlier, he openly defied your command to attack the Big Enders. He humiliated you.
You're right. You're right.
We must execute him.
Execute him? You can't do that. Well, I mean, we must consider all the options.
Are you with us, Lord Chancellor, or with the monster? We'll spread poison on his shirt, which will make him tear his own flesh apart in torture.
Then I'll get 1,000 men with poisoned arrows, and as he staggers back, we'll fire them in his face.
Good plans, boys, but I don't think we should actually murder him. You were so keen to kill Mother last year, and now I miss her dreadfully. You're both too impulsive. But I agree something must be done. Something merciful. We'll dig out both his eyes.
Oh, I don't know. Just the eyes. Doesn't seem very much to me.
When he's blinded, he'll be much more obedient and even more courageous because he won't see any danger.
Couldn't we shatter his kneecaps with cannonballs as well? That way. Are we all here?
Where's the new Chancellor gone?
Wake up! Wake up! The generals are plotting to kill you.
No,
You gotta try and escape.
I'm a war hero. I just saved the Empress's life.
No, don't go to sleep. I can't stay here. They'll kill me too if they find out. Wake up!
had escaped, but to where? Where could I go? Would I just swim out to sea until I drowned? With Clustrel's help, I hid from the Emperor's soldiers who were searching everywhere for me. That night I pulled up hundreds of trees and tied them together to make a small raft, while Drunlo organized a collection of every single bedsheet for miles around, and I began to sew them together to make a sail. Thank you for saving my life. Sorry if...
Don't you talk to me. All in the palm of my hand. Wealth, power, respect. Look at me now, eh? Like the seaweed soup.
I'd like to leave you a gift. My ring.
Oh, marvellous. Well, what do I want your ring for, eh? I can't wear it, can I? This...
It's gold.
I'm rich! You always treated me good. You was always my friend. I'm rich! Dad, I'm rich!
Never mind that, son. Never mind that. I think I found the other boot.
This isn't right.
It's done now.
I feel as if I betrayed him.
You know it's the right thing to do. The doctors at the hospital are very caring people. Right.
For 7 days and nights I sailed without sighting land. My supplies had run desperately low and I was losing all hope. I was gradually forced to eat my carefully gathered supplies until only one sheep remained. Land. Land! No matter if it was more tiny people, at least it was land.
Well, don't worry. I'm taking you somewhere you'll be safe.
have your signature here, Dr. Bates. I think we can leave the rest of the formalities till tomorrow.
Giants!
Is this behavior absolutely necessary?
Mother Earth, it's an omen. It's an omen!
Have you found something, Coulter?
Nothing. Back to work.
Perhaps he's a hobgoblin.
He's nothing of the kind. He's a good luck sign from Mother Earth to show we're going to have a fine harvest. I'm going to give him some meat.
Giants. And so ugly. Their skin was so crinkled and pocked and boil infested. It made me wonder what I looked like to the Lilliputians. Perhaps I was just as...
Oh! It's just a little dog! Don't be such a coward! Down!
Let me out of here! There's been some terrible mistake!
Oi, you in there! Keep quiet!
Can you stand by me?
This is my daughter, Glumdalclitch.
He's lovely.
Who's going to take care of him, I wonder?
Oh, can I? Can I have him to keep?
He's a grand little fellow, isn't he? He can do tricks as well, I expect.
Do us a dance.
We could make a lot of money with this little fella.
What is this place?
A hospital.
Since when do hospitals have bolted doors?
It's a hospital for people with sick minds.
Well, I can assure you there's nothing wrong with me.
It is for us to ascertain.
I don't like this box. Where are you taking me?
What box? What are you talking about?
Come and see the wee wonder! The spirit of the cornfield! Come and see now, wee wonder, the spirit of the cornfield! Come on, everyone, come and
Brobdingnag?
Yes.
And what part of the world is this Brobdingnag in?
I don't know. I was completely lost. I had no compass.
And you say this little girl was carrying you?
In the traveling box, yes, that they made me. Look, to understand my predicament, you have to imagine yourself as only as tall as my hand. That is to say, if you were to lie down on the floor, please, I'm not trying to make a fool of you. See how different the world looks? Well, imagine everything you know is now huge, monstrous.
Shh. If we make too much noise, the sprite may not come out. He's a timid little fella. Mind that none of you look him direct into the eye. He might curse you.
Who summons the spirit of the cornfield?
Oh, I do. I need your wisdom, oh spirit.
Show me gold and thou shalt be told.
It's my radishes, O spirit of the cornfield. O spirit, we humbly beseech you to rid these rotten vegetables of their cursed affliction.
Then I'd pretend to go into this fit, like this, you see. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
The spirit has spoken. Your radishes will be the plumpest and the firmest in the entire country. Next.
And you really believed you were possessed by this spirit of the cornfield, did you?
No, of course not. We were just doing it to make money. I had sick cows brought before me. I was blessing chickens. I was exhausted.
If his life was so terrible, why did you try to escape?
I was helpless. Can't you understand? My destiny was out of my hands.
That's all for tonight. He'll perform again at daybreak.
I am one of the Queen's ladies in waiting.
I don't care if you're the Queen herself. I am off sleep.
I was wondering if the little gentleman might be for sale.
My little fella? My little magician? No, oh no.
I'm authorized to offer you a considerable sum.
No disrespect, my lady, but no amount of money is going to part the two of us.
I have here 500 pieces of gold.
Do you want to take him tonight?
I begged the farmer not to part me from Glumberclitch, the only person who really cared for me. Of course, he quickly agreed, only too happy to see his daughter brought up in the royal household. We traveled with the lady for several hours through rich fields and vast farmlands until we reached the palace.
Beware, you, large or small. Once in a lifetime, a man will appear, smaller than all others. And he will be a lucky charm, a talisman for crops, bringing strong sunshine and sweet rain for the harvest. Such a man is me. Am I, or am I not, the smallest person in the kingdom? Can any man look up to me? I'm a shrimp, a worm, an ant, a tadpole, a grub. Am I short? I'm minuscule. I'm dinky, dainty, diminutive. I'm titty tight. I'm so small.
Your Majesty.
Royalty at last. No more riding around on the back of a donkey cart. Here was the Queen, and I was taking no chances. I threw myself at her feet, the only part of her I could reach, anyway, and I kissed her toe a number of times and addressed her in the normal manner. Most glorious Empress, O adornment of nature, the darling of the world, delight of all your subjects, the phoenix of creation.
And this queen, she was also a giant, was she?
How many times do I have to tell you? They were all giants. Even the dwarf was a giant.
Well, Grildrig, it seems you are no longer the smallest man in the kingdom.
Look, Your Majesty.
Yes, Lady Grildrig. We have a new jester.
Her Majesty and I chatted for a while, and I could tell that she was plainly impressed with such wit and good sense in so diminutive a person. For the first time since arriving in this awful place, I felt amongst equals. and knew that from now on I would be treated with respect.
He's a monstrosity.
I disagree. He's a midget, albeit a uniquely small one.
You're both wrong. He's a clockwork toy. And I've no doubt we can find the hole in his back if we look carefully enough.
Take your hands off me! Please, there's been some terrible mistake. I'm a doctor myself. There's nothing wrong with me. Now let me leave, please.
Note that his eyes are constantly moving and he sweats extremely. Why don't you like being touched?
I just don't. I don't have to give a reason, do I?
He's very restless. His mood changes all the time and his speech is eccentric, full of fantasy.
From the teeth I'd say he's a carnivore. Even tiny animals like field mice could overpower him. He lacks the claws for climbing trees and digging in the earth.
Perhaps we should try mating him with an animal of his own size.
Perhaps we should not. This is outrageous. Gentlemen, please listen to me. I come from a civilized country which abounds with several million people of both sexes of my own stature, where the houses and the trees and the animals are all in proportion. And I have no trouble feeding myself or protecting myself or anything else for that matter. I am a man just like you.
That farmer was cunning to have taught him to say all this.
You can't keep me here against my will. Where's my wife and son?
You may shout as much as you wish in here. It's something we expect. You won't be punished for such behavior. But that, I'm afraid, is where your rights end.
Put her to bed for a day or two if the symptoms persist. Rest and warmth are all she needs. I have no more patients today, Mary. We can leave if you're ready.
I won't be gone long. Why can't I come? You can come next time. I expect all this to be cleared away before I get home.
I wish I could dissuade you from visiting him yet. Please don't expect any dramatic improvement so quickly.
In our country, we also have very high taxes, Your Majesty. Keeps people in their place.
We have no taxes.
But everyone's bringing you the fruits of their labor.
So that they can be divided up between the whole kingdom fairly.
Amongst the higher classes, you mean?
No, we have enough food to feed everybody. A farmer brings in his crop and takes home some of his neighbors. Look, each takes his share and no one goes hungry.
But unless some people are starving, how can there be structure to society? What do your ministers say about this?
Ministers? Each village sends its oldest farmer to meet with me twice a year, and we decide what's best for the common good.
The common good?
Yes. For instance, Grildrick's new job is to feed the rotten produce to the pigs.
Oh, dear. I hope he doesn't bear me any malice.
Grildrick! You're not jealous of our new jester, are you?
Oh, my lady, nothing could be further from the truth. Like yourself, I've taken a special shine to the little chap.
I want to see whoever's in charge now! I demand to be let out! Enter.
I've got a surprise for you. Shall I open it?
Thank you. Yes. Dear little Glumdeclitch. She clearly adored me. She so enjoyed dressing me and undressing me like a doll, even though I could, of course, manage for myself.
Oh, Glum. It's beautiful.
Does this feel like your home now?
Not really. My house isn't quite as big as this.
Will you take me there one day? So I can meet your queen and see her great city?
Yes, I will. We'll go to the theater.
And what'll we do before we go? Tell me everything we'll do.
Well, first, we'll walk through the park and bow to all the ladies and gentlemen.
Dressed in our finest clothes, of course.
The very finest. And then we will sit. We'll take tea.
Chocolate. Can I have chocolate?
Ah, chocolate, certainly. Very fashionable choice, my lady. And I will buy you presents. Lots of presents. A doll's house. Even bigger than this one.
The children will love it. If we're married, we'll have children, won't we?
Glum, how old are you?
11. But I'm growing very fast.
I already have a wife, Glum.
Oh.
In England.
You said it was a hospital. This is more like a prison.
I don't like it any more than you do, Mary. Some of the patients become disturbed. It's necessary to keep them securely.
Mary, thank God you're here. I've got to get out of this place. You have come to take me home.
Well, we thought it best you had a chance to recover first.
Have the doctors seen you yet?
Yes, but they don't understand. The trouble is they know nothing about England, so they have no idea how intelligent I am.
They don't know about England.
Well, why should they? They've never been there. Of course! That's what I have to do. Bates, call the doctors right now. I have to tell them everything. That way they'll stop treating me like a child. Call them back! Call them back!
I began a massive lecture to explain the difference between their simple farming life and our complex, sophisticated society. I extolled the virtues of our great government, education and arts, our courts and their great wisdom. I mentioned the prudent management of our treasury, the valor of our army and navy, and our great colonies and conquests.
My remarkable lecture lasted 5 audiences with the Queen, each one lasting several hours. She was most attentive, frequently making notes, and when I'd finished, she requested a 6th audience, no doubt to praise my eloquence and to beg my forgiveness.
I have some questions.
Questions, Your Majesty?
Questions. These ministers who run your country, how do they get to be ministers?
Well, usually it's a sum of money that decides the issue.
So how do they gain the knowledge about the people they're supposed to serve?
They don't need much knowledge because they spend, well, most of their time drinking and gambling.
Yes, you've mentioned gambling before. At what age is this entertainment taken up?
16 or 17?
And at what age is it put down?
60 or 70.
In your courts, how much time is spent in determining between right and wrong?
Oh, trials last weeks or months, at great cost to those involved.
Doesn't it mean the poor have no recourse to the law?
Well, the poor are too busy working to need justice.
Do your lawyers ever plead cases which manifestly they know to be wrong?
Of course. That's their job.
And this amuses you, does it? To mock our institutions?
No, I was trying to defend them. That was the whole point.
You said your taxes raise more than 5 or 6 million, and yet the state spends more than double that amount. How can a kingdom spend more than it receives in taxes?
Well, that's simple. We just borrow more from ourselves.
I have to say that you're doing yourself no good by trying to make fools of us.
But it's the truth.
And your wars.
Our wars.
Why are you always attacking people? What business have you to leave your shores unless to trade?
Well, often we have to defend ourselves by attacking before we've been attacked, thus gaining the element of surprise.
And this standing army of yours, why is it standing? In the midst of peace, amongst a free people, why do you need such a massive force of weapons and men?
I don't...
began to crumble, to lose my way. I stuttered, hesitated.
Really, I've heard enough. We have other patients to see.
But I haven't finished yet. The whole purpose of...
I said I've heard enough. The history of your country seems to consist of nothing more than a squalid string of conspiracies, rebellions, revolutions, murders, and massacres. Every judgment seems to be motivated by greed, by malice, hypocrisy, hatred, envy, lust, and madness.
Perhaps I explained badly.
We shall examine you again at the beginning of next month. In the meantime...
Next month? What in God's name are you talking about? Haven't you heard a word I said?
You have proved that ignorance, idleness, and vice are the only qualifications for public office, and that your laws are made by those whose only interest is in perverting them. I can only conclude that your people are the most pernicious race of odious little vermin that ever nature suffered to crawl upon the face of the earth.
Your Majesty.
Stay with him, Mary. Let me talk to the doctors and plead for his release.
Don't despair, Lemuel.
A month.
Don't lose hope. Let me talk to you.
I don't belong here. I'm just a joke. I'm the laughing stock of the entire country.
I think you're very clever. We could think of something that would impress the Queen.
Oh, yes. Perhaps if I learned how to juggle bananas with my feet, perhaps I would raise my social standing in the court.
You must know something they don't. You're so clever.
I know hundreds of things they don't. They know nothing of music, of politics, of culture, or...
Gunpowder.
What is gunpowder?
Never mind that. Take this list of ingredients. Now, mix them in the quantities that I've described there. The Harvest Day Festival was only 3 days away. It was the perfect chance for me to make a good impression. People from all over the kingdom would be coming to the court. Now a normal explosion would hardly be noticed by these giants, and the last thing I wanted was another public humiliation. So I multiplied the quantities of gunpowder tenfold.
If you want to make this amount, I doubt we should even see this gunpowder experiment. I think we should increase these figures 5-fold. 10-fold at least. Then perhaps we'd have a proper demonstration.
It's a quite extraordinary story. He insists he was a prisoner in a land of giants.
Really? When he told me the story, he was the giant and everyone else was tiny.
And you just found him wandering about the streets?
The lady found him, yes. She brought him to my surgery.
What name should the patient be admitted under?
Just put patient of Dr. Bates.
Are you sure you don't want to come out and see the harvest parade?
Quite sure, thank you. The noise will give me a headache. Pour for me, will you?
I wish you wouldn't drink so much.
Thank you for your concern. I wish I didn't have to live in this monstrous place.
Are you nervous about the gunpowder demonstration?
Gunpowder, not bun powder. No, I'm not nervous. I'm fine. Please, Glum, leave me alone. Why was I so horrible to her? The dear girl had shown me nothing but kindness and love. I was just angry that no one would take me seriously. Still, things would be very different after the demonstration.
Try this.
Hello, Shorty.
Girl trick! And with all the noise outside, no one could hear me shout. I ran to the center of the table and hid as best I could.
That won't do you any good. I've been waiting a long time for this.
As I lay there bruised, I heard this sound, and I looked up and I saw Grilda graze this.
Where are you?
No more, please!
No more. No more. But the best is yet to come.
What? What?
Pulled out this tin.
Do you know what your head will look like when a wasp stings you? It'll swell up, bloated with pus, until it's so big, it'll just pop. Happy Harvest Day, Squirt.
They were all around me. One over there. Two hovering around the food at the other end of the table.
Lanyard, there's nothing in here!
Two left. Where are they?
Please, I'm frightened you'll hurt yourself.
Fighting for my life. Sword against thing. Parry, thrust. Parry, thrust. No, no.
Can someone help?
I was beaten back right to the edge of the table. It was extraordinary. You have no idea how I felt. I was exhausted, but...
I killed him! I killed him! Wait, what are you...
Mary, please, he's having a fit.
Please don't let them hurt him.
Why won't anyone believe me? Look! Wait a minute! I can prove that I'm not making any of these stories up. Go back to the house right now. Find my medical bag.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
Bring me the bag! I can prove that everything has happened to me! Mary, you've got to believe me, it's the truth!
I'm afraid it's much worse than we thought. I know this is hard, but I think that your very presence is making his condition worse.
But I have to see him. He's my husband. I can't have got him back only to lose him again.
Please, it's the best thing to do.
No, stop it! You can't keep me here! I'm not mad! I can prove I'm not mad!
Are you sure you're all right?
Yes, of course. Fine. Proceed with the demonstration. Now witness the exciting power of this substance, created, I might add, by my odious race, and seemingly unknown to even your greatest minds. No need to cover your ears. Just a small flash of light and an explosion the size of a log cracking on the fire. I know what you're thinking.
Back in the cage. Hurry up, please. Come on.
What are you doing in here?
Nothing.
You know you're not allowed in here. What did I tell you?
It's all right, Mary. Let me talk to him. You're upset. What are you doing in my study?
I wasn't doing anything.
I have never taken my strap to you, but please don't lie to me or I will.
You're not my father. You can't beat me.
Thomas, I don't want to beat you. I know how glad you were to see your father again. But he's a sick man. A violent and disturbed man. Do you know how you can help him most?
No.
By forgetting everything he has told you. All those silly stories. All this nonsense. He came back for a day and now he's gone away again. We've got to know each other very well over the last 2 years. And we got to like each other, haven't we? Yes, we have. And soon I will be your father. Your proper father. And unlike Lemuel, I will care for you properly.
My father cares for me.
Oh, Thomas, if he cared so much for you, why didn't he come home all this time? Why did he leave your mother and you alone in poverty?
More and more I asked Glumdalclitch to take me to the seaside, where I would stare at the ocean for hours and think of my home and everything I had lost. I prayed for help, but no boat ever came past. Never one.
You wouldn't leave without saying goodbye to me, would you?
How can I leave? What will I do? Flap my arms and fly away?
I know you're very homesick.
Oh, Glum. Someday you'll meet someone your own size and you'll forget all about me.
I won't. I'll never forget you.
Don't cry.
I'm not.
Very angry. What were you doing in Dr. Bates' surgery?
I found the sheep. What are you talking about? The little sheep from Lilliput. Just
There
like
are
you
no
said.
tiny things or giant things. They're just stories.
But I saw it.
It's just stories. Now go upstairs to your room.
I'm cold. Put me back in my box, please.
Told you to go to your room.
But Mama, look! Look!
Oh, your room.
Now! Not another word! And stay there till I tell you to come down! I lost all sense of time as the bird flew on and on. In my last moments, I thought of my dear Glumdalclitch, who would certainly be blamed for my disappearance, would lose her place in court, and falling. I felt myself falling with such incredible swiftness that I almost lost my breath.
Did you look in his medical bag like he said?
Completely empty.
Don't know what to do.
Leave everything to me, Mary. I'll take care of it all.
So this was it then. My end, finally. I tried to keep my spirits high, but I realized I would surely die here. I had no food or water. My box was sinking. No boats would pass. I resigned myself to my